mathematicians, let's review how to graph positive numbers on a number line. Number lines can be either horizontal, which goes this way, or vertical, which goes up and down. Some number lines count by different intervals. That's like skip counting. So you can count by ones, or you can count by the only numbers you see are like 2, 4, 6. It can be any interval so long as it's the same skip counting. For example, here, they're called tick marks. Every little line that goes like, where's my pen? Like this. There aren't like lines for 1, 2, 3, and 4. It just goes 0, 5. And then the next number has to be 10. You can't just do like 5 and then this one is 6. So we're counting by the same interval no matter what. It can be any interval, but it has to be consistent on your number line. Not every interval needs to be labeled. So if you don't see numbers on each tick mark, you have to count the spaces between the two numbers to figure out what your interval is. And then once you figure it out, if it's helpful to you, you can write in the labels. So let's look at this example a little bigger. Here we go. So I see 0 and I see 10. But before I go 1, I'm going to actually count, because if I had just started going 1, 2, 3, 4, the next number is not 10. So I don't want to do that. I want to, I'm on an eraser. I want to count. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces in between 0 and 10. So my strategy is, what's 10 divided by 5? Oh, it's 2. So this has an interval of 2, 4, 6, 8. The next number should be 10, so that makes sense that it's the next jump over. You can then keep going, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. You don't have to. If you are comfortable and you know, oh, it's counting by 2s, you don't have to label them. But you do need to make sure that if someone tells you to graph 5, you say, okay, this one's 4 and this one's 6, so here's 5 in between them. You just need to keep track of them. Speaking of in between, key point number 4, you can plot fractions and or decimals on a number line. You can also plot whole numbers, which are not on your tick marks. It's okay if sometimes you're plotting a point that's in between 2 tick marks, because there's an infinite number of numbers in between every number. So sometimes your dots are going to fall not directly on a line, but somewhere in between them. Here's an example where we have 2 different number lines. You need to be able to give directions from one to another and compare them. So for example, if I have a point here, let's call it point A, and a point here, point B, you need to be able to, 1, compare and say, point A is less than point B. So you need to know these less than, greater than, or equal symbols. You also need to be able to give me directions. Now, personally, I struggle with my left and my right, so I just write myself a reminder at the top. This is the right, this is the left. So you need to be able to tell me, oh, if you start at point B, from B, go how many spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So you need to be able to count the spaces to the, and which direction did I go? I just went left. That is how you would give directions from one point to another. Now watch out. One more example. If this is point X and this is point Y, and I'm trying to get from Y, go blank spaces to the blank. From Y, it is not 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. You have to watch out for your interval. In this example, I was counting by 1s, so that was fine. In this example, I'm counting by intervals of 5. So technically, you're going 5, 10, 15, 20 spaces to the left to get to point X. So that's how you give directions to get from one point on a number line to another.